Hello. Thank you for your time. I appreciate all of you and all the support that you lend me in any which way, shape, or form that you show it. We're gonna pick up where we left off last night. Kind of. My ship crashed, or more like was blown up last night. So I'm gonna like not go to that spot again. I'll go there again, but that place that blew my ship up, I'm gonna like hold off on going there. It was like in these walls here. But there was another city or town around here somewhere, and there were two caves. So I kind of wanted to try um, the two caves and the town. This is the other town here. Before I went and gave up my airship. Not yet. Choke. Oh, these are summons. Interesting. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to make a summoner just yet, but that's interesting. Okay, how are you supposed to get in there? Oh, there we go. Okay. Oh, Phoenix down. Wow, that's Gurgans. Huh. I'd like to talk to that guy. I don't know if he's in jail or what the deal is there. Oh, what's this now? Interesting. Ouch. Okay. Haha! Alright. Elixir. There's an undersea cave at a small triangular island. It's full of treasure. Okay, so look for the Triangle Island. Small triangular island. Turtle shell? Elixir. Alright. Interesting. Well, I'm tempted to let the black mage use some let the black mage use some summoning magic. Um I guess I just saved, right? Why not, right? Okay, so Summoner is better than Conjurer. So how do you learn Summoner? So I'm thinking maybe Conjurer isn't worth my time, but Summoner is. Or maybe if you practice Conjurer, you become a Summoner. I don't know. We can try it and see what happens. I lose all my black magic, though. So this may be a short-lived, very short-lived. Can't carry anymore. Okay. Alright, now let's take a look here. Okay, so we'll just unequip Break and Ice 3 and equip Ice. What? So what is it, level 2 magic? You'd think that... Can't carry anymore. What? Okay. Whatever. Okay, so we got ice, lightning, fire. Just in a different form. Alright, well, let's... There's that cave. There was another cave I wanted to look into as well. I suppose I'm not going to be able to... Sure. Okay. Whatever. That's pretty douchebaggy. But whatever. Let's see what we got with our summoner here. That's not bad. Okay. Okay, there's that cave there. Now, what's the easiest way to get to this cave? Is the real question. Okay, we'll try this. The hell is that? Wow, that thing's pretty strong, and it didn't even get to go, so I don't even know how hard it hits. It's a bit concerning. Man, this is like a nightmare. Like, how would you be able to tell if there was a hidden passage? The way the bricks are. I feel like I feel like probably I need an item to get through here, or I need to complete a task or something. I just don't feel like... Alright, so there's still that other cave to look at. And I guess I could fly over to the Geomancer town. I don't know, I guess I could do some more flying around. It's definitely possible that there's some more dungeons, or not dungeons, but like islands and shit out there. Um, I was hoping for more. I had a crown put on one of my teeth the other day, and it's kind of been bothering me off and on. It's like, it doesn't hurt all the time, which is good. I would be a lot more concerned if it did hurt all the time, because I did have a crown put on a different tooth, and it did give me, well, it gave me pretty bad pain, actually. It was some of the worst physical pain I've ever experienced in my life before they finally did a root canal on it. I mean, it was pretty brutal. I wanted to rip my face off and just pull that tooth out. The pain that I feel now is more... Well, okay, so it's been a while since I've had any dental work. Well, I shouldn't say that. A vast majority of all the dental work I've had, dating back, I don't know, maybe 7 years. In fact, okay, so let's put it this way. I had the tooth that was crowned last week. I also had some fillings put in that same tooth by the same dentist who put the crown on that tooth. And then some years back, in fact, I think that was the first crown I ever had put on any tooth ever. I ended up needing a root canal on that tooth after the crown. And that was done by an oral surgeon, not the dentist that actually put the crown on. Anyway, the dentist that I have been going to for like 7 years, 8 years, I don't know. One of the reasons why... Okay, so I had one... I don't even know what it was. Probably just some fillings or a filling. I don't remember. But I had a dental procedure down there. And I felt like zero pain, literally. Like, usually, you know, you have a filling, and then, in my experience anyway, then that tooth is really hypersensitive for, you know, months sometimes. But the place that I've been going to for like the last 7, 8 years, that was never a thing, you know? Didn't matter if it was a filling, didn't matter if it was a crown. I go in there, I get the work done. No pain before the procedure, no pain after the procedure, no sensitivity. I mean, that's like, I was like, wow, this guy is freaking awesome. Well, that guy actually only did a few procedures and then he retired. And this other guy at the same office, you know, I just kind of kept on going there. And he did the same, whatever, I don't know what they do there, but there's just no issues. I don't know if it's the amalgam they use. I don't have any idea, but there's just been no issues with sensitivity, no issues with pain. It's been fantastic, right? Because in my experience, usually I get a filling and then, you know, that shit sucks. You can't even eat anything on that side of your mouth for like weeks or months before that sensitivity wears off. Well, I had this crown put on by somebody else because they couldn't, the guy I normally go into, couldn't get me in until like April. And I had a big filling fall out of this one tooth, and I'm like, no, dude, I don't want to let, like, I don't want to let this thing just sit here like this until April. This was like a month or two ago, right? I was like, I want to get this thing fixed. I don't want to have a root canal on top of the crown. The crown's already like $1,500. I don't want another $1,500 or $2,000 freaking root canal on that same tooth. So I was like, well, I'll just go to this other place. They got me in. Um, anyway, I'm having intermittent problems as far as pain. Um, Now, I should mention it's very, very cold here. When I was driving home from work this evening, it was literally 19 degrees below zero air temperature. I have no idea what the wind chill is. Probably like 50 degrees below zero. It's insanely cold out there. So, I was indoors at around like, I don't know, 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, the 4 o'clock hour, right? And I had no pain, no nothing. It was like I'd forgotten about it, right? That's kind of how pain is. If it's not there, you just kind of forget about the the wound or whatever it is that's causing you pain, right? You just kind of, if the pain isn't there, you forget that it was even there. It's like a headache, right? You have a headache and you take some Tylenol or some Advil or some shit, and then the headache goes away, and then 45 minutes later, you forget. You forget you even had a headache because the pain's gone. Well, that's kind of what was going on with this tooth. I'd kind of forgotten that I had any kind of dental work done, and because I didn't have any pain. Well, I went outside. I don't know if I took a deep breath in through my mouth or what happened, but like I said, it's bitter cold out there, man. It's literally 19 degrees below zero out there right now. Maybe it's even colder now, but that's what it was on my drive home. And um, ever since I went outside, and I've been outside and inside back and forth all day long, right? It's not like I've just been indoors all day. I've been going back and forth, whether it was going to somebody's apartment or going to a shopping center or Walmart or wherever, right? What the hell is this now? Is that a bird? But ever since I went outside that at about 5 o'clock, 5:15, something like that, this tooth has been okay. I know it's for frog, but whatever. You try it, right? I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I don't think I have the prerequisite item. I'm starting to think, well, I guess I haven't flown around everywhere yet. There's the possibility. Is there anything in here? I'm going to go ahead and say probably no on that. I think all there probably is in here is to wake her up. Which I don't believe I can do yet, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't feel like that's a thing. I feel like she's a key for something, but I don't have the key for her. That's how I feel about it. So I'll come back to her, which leaves either give up my airship, go revisit some towns I've been to see if I can get some armor for that summoner, or fly around and see if I can't. You know, after this fight, I'm gonna move some shit around. But this has happened before where this tooth just starts to ache, right? It's not like terrible. It's kind of like, you know how when you go in to get some dental work done and they take that big huge needle and they squeeze that Novocaine into your gums and shit? You know how after the Novocaine wears off and your gums where that needle went in, um, like it's kind of there's like a there's like a discomfort there, right? Because the tissue's been damaged, or yeah, basically. I mean, you had this huge needle go inside the tissue, so the tissue's been damaged, and it's kind of, I don't know if sensitive is the right word, but inflamed and sore a little bit. And that usually doesn't last more than a day or two, and just kind of just goes away. But in this case, that's kind of what it feels like. Only it's not that. It's something else. Let's take a look at the map. Oh yeah, that's another thing I wanted to do here. Let's go into magic and let's go and item and let's get rid of. There we go. And then let's go. It's kind of like a dull, almost wannabe throbbing pain, but it's not that bad. It's like, I don't know what would I compare it to? Like the intensity of the pain, I mean. Like, okay, imagine like you stub your big toe on something. There's that immediate like, ah, son of a bitch. But then, 10, 15 seconds later, that wears off, and there's just this kind of residual discomfort there. It's not that big of a deal, but it's, kind of annoying. That's kind of what I'm dealing with. But it's not there all the time. Eventually it goes away. Um, like I remember last night it was bothering me when I went to bed, and I was kind of worried about it. Because, like, dude, this has been kind of lingering for a while, man. And then I woke up sometime later, and it was like nothing at all. Totally fine. But then when I drank something, I think it was like a colder beverage, it like, I was like, ah, dang. And then, then that immediate pain goes away, but then then kind of settles in that annoying whatever I'm dealing with kind of pain. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't know what to do. I googled it and they're like saying like it's totally normal to have pain or discomfort on a tooth that you had crowned. Like even 2 weeks down the road, that's totally normal. So I'm like, okay, not the dentist I usually go to, but whatever, you know. But other than that one dentist office, dude, I swear, every other dentist I've been to, it's the same crap with this whole sensitivity thing to cold or whatever. And I'm talking about fillings, not crowns. This guy did crowns for me, and like the only issue I ever had was the very, very first one. And I don't know that I really blame him. I think going into it, he knew that there was a chance that it could need a root canal, but there was also a chance that it would not need a root canal. And I mean, what's he gonna do, you know? I mean, it might not need one. Even if it's 50-50, even if it's 60-40 that it would need one, there's still a 40% chance it's not going to need one. So, I mean, the tooth needed to be repaired. What had happened, this was back in like 2017, maybe? Yeah, it would have been 2017. What happened was, um, it was right around Christmas time of 16, and I was eating some kind of Christmas candy or something that had nuts in it, and this tooth just basically just crumbled on me, right? So I've got this huge hole in this tooth, like it's most of the whole tooth, right? Now I did my best to keep it clean and everything, but I had changed jobs in that window of time, and there was this like 6 month waiting period for me to be able to be covered under my dental insurance. So I was like, well, I mean, it's a pretty expensive procedure. I'll just wait on it. It didn't cause me any pain. It wasn't like, painful or anything like that. Um, it was just a tooth that needed to be repaired badly. Well, ends up I get the crown put on, then I have to get the stupid root canal after that. On the bright side, I did go back into that dentist office and I said, hey, it kind of feels like maybe the seal on this crown is less than perfect. And he was fiddling around with his, dental pick and all that shit, right? They got all these tools they look at shit with. And he's like, yeah, it should be replaced, but the guy didn't charge me for it, even though it was a different dentist in the office that had done the work. And I went in there expecting him to tell me, sorry, man, you know, it's not our fault. But I think maybe he kind of felt like because the oral surgeon had to drill through that crown to do the root canal, he probably felt like, this guy is going to have a number of teeth coming up that are going to need dental work. If I tell him to go pound sand here, he may get that work done elsewhere. If I do the work here for him and don't charge him, I'm probably going to make like thousands of dollars off this guy's mouth over the next coming years. And he was right. He has made thousands of dollars off this mouth of mine since then. But, excuse me. Um, but, that crown seal was, I don't know what happened. It just felt like I could feel if I ran my fingernail over it. Like it didn't give me any pain or anything, but I figured, I got nothing to lose. The worst he could say, no, we're not gonna fix it for free. We're gonna charge you for a whole new crown. Now, there's a couple different things in my experience with crowns. Some dentists actually have like it's almost like, like a fake diamond machine, a fake diamond making machine. It's not exactly the same thing, but that's kind of like the idea, like a cubic zirconium kind of thing. I don't know what those things are called exactly, but like fake diamonds. Anyway, it's like a 3D printer kind of thing almost. But the material that they use is like, I don't know what the hell they make it out of, but it's damn strong, right? Anyway, they 3D print your tooth, they scan it, they put it into an oven, they bake this material, whatever it's made out of, and like basically a 2-hour procedure. You're there, they do the prep work on the tooth, they do the scanning, they print the new tooth, the crown, which is basically a new tooth, and then they glue it into place, right? Well, the other option is you go to the dentist, they break the tooth down, create a platform to put the crown on, and then they put a temporary crown on your tooth, and then they send the specs in because they scan it, whatever. They send the specs into a third-party company. The third-party company builds the crown, makes it out of whatever they make it out of, sends it back to the dentist. You go back to the dentist again, then they go and they take off the temporary crown and install the permanent one. For me, I'd much rather just sit there for 2 hours and get it all done at once and make, 2 trips to the dentist. Anyway, the first crown I had put on was the 2-day procedure. Everyone since then has been the 2-hour procedure. I've had no issues with any of the crowns that I've ever gotten, except for technically that one, which was a 2-day procedure. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crowns now. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5. It's the I've got my wisdom teeth are all pulled, but so then and then the back 4 are all they have fillings in them, but they're all they're uncapped. But the next row on all 4 quadrants all have a crown. I don't know what it is with that specific tooth, but they all have crowns on now. And I'm probably going to be working on the ones in front of those next. One of them already has a crown on the top. I think that's the next one I'm going to do is top right, second in from the third in from the back, I guess. And those back 4 molars are eventually going to have to get capped, but those are big ass teeth. I don't know. If I can manage to, well, the job I have right now, their benefits package is actually pretty decent. I mean, from my perspective anyway. Like, I care more about dental coverage than any other, like, body coverage. Like, I think the whole medical insurance thing is all screwed up. You shouldn't have to pay for medical insurance, dental insurance, vision insurance, ear insurance. It's like, what the hell, man? Like, if you have a car, you don't pay for bumper insurance. You don't pay for headlight insurance. You don't pay for motor insurance. That's the bullshit, dude. Like, there should just be freaking body insurance. And then you pay what you want. You want a high deductible, low premium, or you want a high premium, low deductible, or somewhere in the middle. Pick what you want, right? I think that's the way it ought to be. But the company I work for, they have an HSA, which for me is great because I can use that money on dental work, which is a freaking nightmare, man. Like the dentist, like the two biggest money pits in life are probably women and a dentist. Like I said, I don't have any kids, but kids would probably be right up there with your woman. Women are freaking expensive, man. They're an endless money pit. Cars, if you own the wrong kind of car, a car can definitely be a money pit. If you own a Toyota, probably not very much of a money pit. Toyotas are pretty awesome cars. They're very well made. Okay, where's that? They said a Triangle Island. I want to try and find that Triangle Island. Cars, money pit. If you own a boat, that is a world-class money pit there. Women, women are definitely a money pit. I mean, really, when you think about it, what are you paying for? You know, you buy this woman dinner, you take her to different places, all the while you're, paying money, right? And if you get what you're kind of probably looking to get eventually, at the end of the day, you know, you kind of paid money for that shit. In a roundabout way. I mean, you take a woman out to eat different times, you take her to different places, you entertain her, you wine her, you dine her, and like, what do you ultimately take? I mean, you're taking that money and you're sharing these experiences with this woman in the hope that you're gonna get something, right? So I don't know, man. Dating is just it's very I don't know, man. I never really thought about this stuff until like later on as I grew a little bit older, and I don't know if I thought about it while I was. I guess I don't know when these thoughts first crossed my mind, but maybe after my divorce, and I look back, and I'm like, I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about my ex-wife in that way. I don't believe that she's like a. I think she was a pretty. I wouldn't say she's a shrew. Or what's the word I'm looking for? Um, I don't know. She was not a nun or something like that, but at the same time, she wasn't like nasty. I wouldn't have married her if she was. Um, but looking back on it, or not so much looking back on it, but looking forward, right? So my divorce is a number of years back. It would have been 17 when it went final. So like 5 years ago, right? I've had time to heal, so that's not really the thing. But, if I were to, you know, I have not, um, what do we got over here? I have not sought out a romantic relationship since I lost my marriage. I just have had no desire to try and cultivate. Oh, wow, okay. I can go back here. I've just had no desire to try and cultivate um, a romantic relationship after that. I mean, I invested so much of myself, um, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, like in pretty much every way. I invested myself like all in, right? on my marriage, and then when that didn't work out, it was just like, you know, I'd rather be by myself and content with my life for the rest of my life than to go through that again. Now, on the flip side of that, I would rather find, you know, a woman who would be like a perfect match for me. Okay, so this is that Triangle Island, right? Maybe this is Minnie. Um, let's see here. Let's go with this one. So, I don't know. I mean, would I rather find the perfect match for me and then spend the rest of my life with this woman? Or spend the rest of my life by myself and content with my life? Uh, Obviously, I'd rather have the perfect fit for me because there's really nothing better in life than loving and being loved in a romantic sense. Like, that's the best thing in the world, man. I've never felt anything better than that. I mean, I've felt a lot of things that were pleasurable in my life, but like as far as a really fulfilling experience and just, something that will just put you on cloud nine, like that's the shit, man. That's good stuff. But much like alcohol, there is a pleasure to pain ratio that I don't know, man. Marriage is tough. It's like all that shit that you just kind of were like, did that you didn't care about that much when you were dating or even when you were engaged, right? It's like there's a particular food that you love, right? It's like one of your favorite foods, but it has ingredients in it that your woman hates, right? So that means that pretty much that shit's off the menu, right? Well, when you're dating this woman and then you fall in love and then you get engaged, that shit, who cares? Who cares? You know what? Who cares? But then you get married and it's like from a male's perspective, you're like, okay, the goal's accomplished, right? It's over. I don't have to date this woman anymore. You know, it's lock, stock, and smoking barrel, right? We're married now, and now I'm gonna have that food because what are you gonna do? You know, I've been not having that food that I like for a long time now, just because we were going through this dating thing or whatever. But now that's over. We're married now, and now I'm gonna eat that shit. And if you don't like it, you can eat something else. I don't care. And stuff like that starts to happen, right? Where you do get a little bit selfish. It's not like that's not a really big deal, right? You like mushrooms on a pizza, or you like black olives on a pizza. She doesn't. You can order half and half, right? It's not a big deal. But it's stuff like that that eventually starts to um, to wear on a person because you're like, you know what? I shouldn't have to go out of my way and be like, well, I'm ordering this. She should say, hey, you like that? Go ahead, you order that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because you've been going this whole time giving her what she wants. It's her turn to fucking return the favor, right, dude? Like totally 100%. And not on everything all the time, but on little things like that, she can give up something a little bit, you know, on something silly like mushroom black olive pizza, right? Just something silly like that. I'm not talking about big stuff that's totally different, right? But the little things, there's always going to be little things. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter if it's your girlfriend or your wife. It doesn't matter if it's one of your siblings. It doesn't matter if it's your best friend in the whole world. It doesn't matter who it is. You're not going to agree on everything all the time. There's going to be things that you're like, no, I don't like that shit. Or they're going to be like, hey, I love that. Or you're going to be like, hey, I love that. And there's just going to be some things that you just don't necessarily agree on. And that's just the way it is. It's just humanity. There's really no way around that. Um, but once you marry that woman, then, you know, those things will start to, you know, come out of the woodwork. You know, you've been wanting to put this one piece of furniture in this one place for 3 years, and she doesn't want it there. But you know what? She's at work today, and I've had enough of not having what I want. Because honestly, like I said, she knows that you want that thing there. She should pick her battles a little bit better, and she should just do the right thing, which is like, hey, I don't care. Put that furniture there. It'll make you more happy to have the furniture there than it'll bug me for it to be there. And it's little stuff like that that both of you have to do. It's not just like always one-sided where the woman has to always give up or the man has to always give up. There has to be a little bit of a, you know, um, there has to be give and take. There has to be uh, communication, you know? And that was probably the biggest issue that we faced was um, I thought I was communicating very, very bluntly and plainly. And I think she thought that she was too. But she wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, it just she was not communicating what she felt she needed to communicate. Um, I think she thought that I understood, but I was just ignoring her or not caring about what her feelings were, which was just not the case. I just didn't understand what she was trying to tell me. Because men and women just communicate differently. It's just the way it is. And, you know, I hate making broad statements like that because every individual is different. But generally speaking, you know, women are so much more subtle. Like, I work with this woman, and I have come to believe that she just does not care for me. And we have to document things that we do at work. And um, we will we have to read our peers' documentation of certain stuff. And so I will read some of her stuff and I will see that, you know, she's writing something between the lines that she's thinking I will pick up. Now, maybe there's a lot of stuff I haven't picked up on, and maybe there's some stuff I have picked up on, right? Like, I don't freaking know. Like, there's no way I'm going to pick up everything. It's a woman, and women are, pretty much impossible to really figure out because they're constantly changing, you know, like, their opinions and shit change all the time. Their moods change all the time. In fact, what do they say? It is a woman's prerogative to change her mind, right? So, it's like baked into being a female. Interesting. So, what was that healed me randomly? Anyway, I mean, I've met a couple women that I find attractive where there's a little bit of a spark there, but you do have to kind of make an effort, right? Otherwise that shit's just not gonna go anywhere. And I just haven't really. I guess there was this one woman who was really interested in me, and I, at the time, I just was not anywhere near ready to try and pursue anything. And I just, it wasn't gonna work. There was just not enough of a spark there anyway. But more recently, there's been a different woman. She's I guess I don't know how old she is, but I would guess that she's at least 10 or 12 or 13 or 14 years younger than I am. But I don't really know for sure how old she is. I think she's in her like mid late 20s, although she looks like she's in her, you know, she looks like she's she looks very young. But somebody said something about her being like 27 or something like that, 26, which is like, as far as I'm concerned, about the perfect age. By then, she should hopefully have gotten her crazy out of her system by then. And she's getting to be, well, she's going to start noticing that it was a couple years back that she was closer to 30 than 20. And that starts to really wear on a woman. And I would say women over the age of 25 and under the age of 30 are probably actively looking for a mate they can spend the rest of their life with. Because they know once they hit 30, the odds are not in their favor anymore. And every year after 30, those odds go down more. Because they're competing with all the women in their 20s for the same men. And that's a losing game. That is a losing game. Alright, what am I doing here? Alright. So I guess, once a woman hits, I don't know, I guess 26, she realizes, hey, I'm on the wrong side of 25 here. And, I mean, I'm talking for like, if you're looking for a meaningful long-term relationship, a mate, a woman that you might marry someday, like that's like the perfect age group, basically 26 to 29, somewhere in there. A lot of women who don't get married by the time they're 30, there's a really good reason why, you know? There's something wrong with them. Something broken inside them. And then, maybe they do get married, but that broken thing never gets resolved, and then they're not happy, and then you're not happy, and all of the hard work in the world isn't going to fix a broken woman. That's shit they got to fix themselves. Feminists don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. a huge amount of a woman's value, her own self-worth, her value in society, her value by members of the other sex, uh, pertains to her beauty and her youth and her fertility. And women have a whole different life than men do, you know? I mean, as children, there's not much difference. But I guess maybe there is, but the difference is far less. Um, but once a female matures into a woman, then she has like so many options available to her that men simply just don't have and never will have. Um, Men will do things for women that they would do for nobody else. They wouldn't do for their brother or their sister. They wouldn't do for their friend. Wouldn't do for their parents. Wouldn't do for anybody but a woman that they're in love with. And that's an absolutely uh, invaluable asset that women have at their disposal. I mean, it's like nothing else in this world. But there's a clock on that. Women only have that uh, gift. They only have those abilities for a limited window of time. And when they lose their use, lose their fertility, lose their beauty, as it were, then they lose I mean, I think one of the worst things in the world would be for a woman who is just stunningly beautiful. I mean, like, you know, she could be in a room with 100,000 women, and she's in the top 50 of those women as far as beauty, right? Top 50 out of 100,000. Like, we're talking like just jaw-dropping, stunningly beautiful woman, right? And then to live her life in that body, in that face, for her whole life, right? And then have to endure the change that takes place right around 40. And then as she goes past 40 into 50 and so on. And to just go from the life of every man that ever encountered her being eager to basically do anything she wanted. I mean, within reason, right? Like, men aren't going to, like, some men, but, you know, not all men are just going to, like, you know, just, you get what I'm saying anyway, right? She has this life of Riley where the world is literally her oyster. She can have anything she wants, whenever she wants, from almost anybody that she wants. But then she starts to transition into the third phase of the female existence. And all of that falls through her fingers like sand. And I think that would be one of the most difficult things to have to deal with on an emotional and a psychological level. I mean, to lose so much. It would be like being a billionaire and having all of the perks that come with being a billionaire, and then losing it all at the casino, and maybe not being broke, right? But having to live a pedestrian life. You know, that would just be so difficult to make that transition. On the flip side of that, if you are talking about I mean, a beautiful woman, but not, not like, I don't know how really to say this, but like just a better than average looking woman, pretty face, nice body, nothing glaringly wrong with her. That woman probably was treated pretty well by men most of her life and people in general, unless she was a psycho bitch. And she probably married a nice man with a income that is going to provide a comfortable life for her and their family. And she probably has children, raises children, who then have their own children, and then she becomes a grandmother. I think that woman doesn't really have that massive fall. She kind of stays in her own little group. She might be better looking than average, but, you know, she had a happy life, and she had a good life and a fulfilling life. Whereas the just knockout top 50 out of 100,000 beauties, and like I just kind of almost feel like that gorgeous beyond imagination woman just, I don't know, she's probably always going to be able to, a woman that beautiful is always going to be able to get attention from men. They just won't necessarily be men in their prime anymore, you know? They might be older men, less desirable men, but still probably wealthy, still probably desirable men. And I suppose older men probably are easier to deal with because she can probably satisfy them a lot easier. She doesn't have to work so hard. Alright, I think this is not working out very well. I think what I'll do is I'll just let them kill me, and then I'll reload and try this again with Minnie. I don't know if Minnie's going to get me anything or not, but I'm going to try it. And wait, they said water, right? I probably have to be a toad. That's probably what it is. And don't get me wrong, I don't think that men are better than women. I don't think that women are better than men. I think that men and women are just different, right? And I'm talking about generally, because when you get down to individuals, you can kind of just throw the book away because individuals are so different. But if you're talking in generalizations, men have different strengths than women do. I mean, women, for example, I think handle illness way better than men. If I get sick, man, I'm a baby. I'm just like useless. But women, they get their period every month, man. So like, they're like sick like a week out of the month every month, or at least a couple days, right? So, I mean, if you think about it from that perspective, they just kind of get used to it, right? So then when they are sick, sick, it's not this big drastic thing. It's like, well, I go through this every month. I guess I can just soldier through this. I think that kind of happens with women, whereas with me, and I think men generally speaking, we become just like completely incapacitated almost, like good for nothing, until we get healthy and then we're good again, right? But I think that's one strength that women have that trumps men's strength in that situation is that I do think that they handle illness or not feeling well. I think they handle that a lot better than men do. Men kind of have like a breaking point where, we can push through a lot, but once a certain line gets crossed, then, for me anyway, then it's like, okay, well, I have a fever now, so goodbye, world. I'll see you whenever I come out of this. Um, I think women are a lot more tolerant of uh, young children, like the screaming of a baby or a young child. Like, I don't want to be around that. It's probably good that I don't have any kids because, I would be like, I just shut the hell up. You know, I'm not. I don't want to be around this. You're driving me insane. I can't concentrate on anything. I can't do anything. I can't be here until you shut the hell up. you know, it's like a headache. You can only take it for so long. Like if I'm out, in public, whatever, shopping, wherever, and you've got some mother who can't control her children and they're just loud and obnoxious or just wailing for no reason, it's like how do you how do you exist in that environment is what runs through my mind. Like how can you but they do. They just tune it out or something, man. I don't know how they do it. That's a strength that women have that I don't have for sure, and I think generally speaking, men would probably have some agreement with my position. Um, let's try Toad. It's kind of risky doing this. Dude, I don't see anything. Maybe this isn't the right island. They said Triangle Island. This does look like a triangle to me, but I don't see anything. Um, strictly following rules. I think women are like if they're especially, and it's a double-edged sword. If they're in a position of authority, like if they're in a managerial position, especially if they're in a managerial position over men, um, women will follow, in my experience anyway. And I don't know if this is a strength or not. I guess it depends on I guess if you're looking at it from a corporate position, then you probably like the woman boss because she will follow every single one of your stupid, idiotic rules to a T, perfectly by the book. She'll follow every freaking rule. Now, for me, that's that's insanity. And some men are kind of like that, but I think men are far more likely, and not always. There are going to be women that are able to separate themselves from the situation and look at things objectively on a case by case basis. Um, but I'm just saying, generally speaking, in my experience, and not 100% of the time, but definitely a vast majority of the time, um, women bosses are more challenging for me to deal with in the sense that they do follow every little rule to the T, which I'm kind of more of like a spirit of the rule rather than the letter of the law kind of guy. Like intent is a big deal for me. So, like if someone is intending to do something shady or intending to do something wrong or the intent is less than noble, let's say, like I think that situation really needs to be treated differently than if the same exact thing happens, but the individual had no ill will in mind. They weren't, there was no intent to defraud anyone, there was no intent to do anything wrong. It just kind of happened. And I don't think that the reprimand for those two things should be the same. Now, the book would probably say that, well, this is the reprimand for this, but I just don't really agree with that. Like I think um, a good example would be this: there are the road conditions are excellent. It's in the middle of summer, and a person chooses to run a red light. Now, fast forward, it's the middle of January. The roads are icy, and the same person or a different person, not the same person, but a different person is at the same exact intersection at the same exact light, and the light just happens to change, and that person has to make a decision in a split second. Do I slam on my brakes and probably slide a third or a half the way into the intersection before my car comes to a complete stop, or do I just coast through the light and say it's safer to just go through than it is to slam on my brakes and see what happens? Now, in both instances, those two cars cross the intersection at the exact spot, at the exact same moment of red light, right? But they're totally not the same situation, you know? One person is driving on perfect driving conditions. They could easily have slowed down without slamming on their brakes and come to a stop at that light in July. But now it's January and a different car is facing the same intersection, but it's still longer safe to slow down as fast as they would need to in that short window of time. I mean, it's not like they're following a car closely, right? There's nobody in front of them for a mile down the road. So it's not an issue of that. It's just an issue that they had a stale green light, it turned red on them, and the roads are shit. There's like ice everywhere. Um, I think there should be no penalty for that individual running that red light. You know? That's just how I feel about it. Alright, I am back. I had a buddy of mine give me a call and I was kind of talking to him there. Plus, I'm trying to find this town. There was that town. I thought it was on an island. Maybe I'm misremembering, but there was a town an island, everything's on an island, but like a small island with just a town on it, I think. I swear, yeah. It's a small island with just a town. That's all that there was. I suppose it's probably hard to find unless I actually use a map to find it, but they had geomancer shit that they were all talking about there, and I kind of want to find that place so I can. Um, they might have armor that my summoner might be able to use, or not summoner, but whatever they call him. It's not a summoner; it's a conjurer. Okay, so there's this island right here. It said something about the Triangle Island, man, and like I don't know where it's at. I don't know what to tell you. I searched every square of this island as a normal size, as a frog, and as a mini, and I still found nothing here. So I don't know. I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss. I was talking to my buddy. I swear this game was designed to have like a massive amount of replay value in mind when they built it. At least that's how I feel. You know what? Maybe I should go to Sid. Maybe Sid would, is Sid here? Or is it like up there? I think it's right here where Sid is. Maybe Sid can upgrade the airship again? Whoa, what is it? Come here. Okay, I guess not. I guess you've done everything that there is to be done. What is it? Kitty. Alright, so let's go. What? What? Why don't you come sit here? Okay, you don't want to come sit here? Then that's up to you, buddy. Alright. Well, I do know that there was an island. It was a small island that had a town on it. But I don't remember exactly where it was. And I feel like probably I would need the map to find it. But I only get so many of these. It's the stupidest. I mean, absolutely the dumbest mechanic for a map. It's just so stupid. You have to use magic just to bring out a... Just to use a map? There's also... an item, a consumable item. Yeah, I think this is that island of the final boss. Or at least that's what it feels like. If it's not, then I don't know, but it sure feels like a final boss written all over it. I don't know, man. Where the hell this island is? I just don't know. I mean, am I misremembering or what? This is that island that screams final boss. I don't know, I'm completely at a loss here. I don't remember this place being that difficult to find. It's so silly that you can't just look at the whole map either, you know? It's only where you're at right now. You can't move the map around any. Well, I don't know. Where the hell is that town? I mean, the area that is covered by water isn't that massive. Unless this is it. I think this is just a little tiny island, though. Yeah. This is nothing here. This is the old world that I had available. There's nothing here. There's that triangle island, which I can't figure out the puzzle to that. Well, I'll try to use... Yeah, I can't go here. You know, I never did try to use... What if I try... Oh, it's still... Okay. I thought maybe if I was tiny, then it feels like it's wind that's pushing me back, but I figured that maybe if if I was miniature, if I was a midget, that maybe the wind wouldn't push so hard on me. You know, I'm thinking, you know, the laws of physics might apply here, but no. No. I wish I knew where that Geomancer town is. Doesn't make any sense why I can't find it. Unless it's not... And I swear there was an island. An island town that had nothing on... Isn't it where I started my save point from? There's also that other town right there that I can't get to. I feel like the next airship will probably fly over mountains. But maybe that's just wishful thinking. I feel like there should be something here, but I couldn't find anything. I just can't remember where that little island is. I don't remember it giving me that much trouble before finding it. magic defense was strong. But they give you the right gear, I think, in this town to go kick his ass. So, you know, I feel like this game probably came with a world map in the box. I don't know why I feel like that, but I do feel that way. There it is. Unbelievable. How did I miss that all these times? So, you can see it on the map. There it is. Unbelievable. How did I miss that? I'm looking for that stupid island all freaking long. I'm pretty sure this is the place that had the Geomancer shit going on, and I want to see if they have any armor for my summoner. Well, he can wear that, so that's good. He can wear that, so that's good. Okay, we'll buy that. And that. Okay. Wait, he's got armor that he can't wear, not... he doesn't have any armor. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay. So still no armor, though. Okay, so,